Sunday morning, 9:47 a.m. I reached for the family iPad on the kitchen counter, intending to check our weekend schedule. Coffee steamed in my favorite mug, the one that said, "Chemistry teachers do it on the table." Periodically, Vanessa had bought it for me 3 Christmases ago, back when we still laughed together. The iPad screen lit up, and I saw an email notification I didn't recognize. The inbox header read, Vanessa Sinclair, her maiden name. My first thought was simple confusion. Vanessa had been Vanessa Brennan for 12 years. Why would she still use her old name for anything? Maybe it was an ancient account she'd forgotten about, some digital artifact from her pre-marriage life. Then I saw the timestamp on the most recent email, 11:43 p.m. yesterday. My hand froze over the coffee mug. The kitchen suddenly felt smaller, the morning sunlight through the window too bright, exposing something I wasn't ready to see. I sat down at the kitchen table, the same table where we'd eaten breakfast with our kids every morning for a decade. The iPad felt heavy in my hands as I opened the email app fully. The inbox contained hundreds of messages, organized into folders with clinical efficiency. Travel, Jordan, hotels, personal. My stomach tightened. I clicked on the most recent email in the Jordan folder. Can't wait to see you in Chicago this weekend. Room 2847 at the Peninsula, 8 p.m. Friday. I've missed you so much these past 2 weeks. What you do to me should be illegal. J. Vanessa's reply, sent at 11:43 p.m. while I'd been asleep upstairs. Counting the hours. I told Alex it's a client emergency summit. He believes everything. See you Friday, my love. My hands started shaking. I set the coffee down before I could spill it. I'm a chemistry teacher. I've spent 20 years teaching teenagers about reactions, about how substances transform when they interact, about how you can't reverse certain processes once they begin. I approach problems methodically, breaking them down into observable components, testing hypotheses, documenting results. So I did what I always do when confronted with something I don't understand. I gathered data. I spent the next 4 hours reading through that inbox, documenting everything with screenshots, creating a timeline in a spreadsheet on my laptop. Vanessa had taken the kids to her mother's house for the day, some shopping trip they'd planned. I had until 5 p.m. The Jordan folder contained 247 emails spanning 8 months. The earliest was dated January 14th, 8 months ago, right after we'd returned from what I'd thought was a nice vacation to Florida with the kids. Jordan Harper. I clicked on one of the attached images, a professional headshot. Mid-40s, expensive suit, confident smile, the kind of smile that said he'd never worried about paying bills or dealing with teenagers who thought balancing chemical equations was pointless. The emails painted a detailed picture. Jordan worked for MedPharm Solutions, a competing pharmaceutical company. Vanessa worked for Biotech Dynamics. They'd met at an industry conference in Miami last January. The first few emails were professional, discussing market trends and FDA regulations. Then they'd shifted, gradually becoming more personal. By February, they were making plans to meet. A dinner in Atlanta when their travel schedules overlapped. Then another in Boston. By March, the language had become unmistakably intimate. I documented every hotel confirmation. The Peninsula, Chicago. The Ritz-Carlton, Atlanta. The Four Seasons, Boston. The Waldorf Astoria in New York. Rooms that cost more per night than I made in a week teaching high school chemistry. The flight bookings were meticulously coordinated. When Vanessa told me she had client meetings in Chicago, Jordan had flights to Chicago. When she claimed an urgent conference in Atlanta, Jordan's calendar showed Atlanta. I cross-referenced her explanations with the email evidence. Every client emergency had been a lie. Every mandatory conference had been a rendezvous. Every "sorry, honey, this came up last minute" had been planned weeks in advance through careful email coordination. The explicit emails were difficult to read, but I forced myself through them. Jordan wrote things like, "What we did at the Ritz last weekend was incredible. I can't stop thinking about how you looked in that red dress before I took it off you." Vanessa replied with equal enthusiasm, describing their encounters in detail that made me feel physically ill. One email from April caught my attention. Alex called while we were in bed yesterday. I had to pretend I was in a client meeting. It was actually thrilling talking to him while you were right there. He has no idea. He never has any idea about anything. Another from May. I can't believe I'm going home to that tonight. Back to the boring routine, the predictable conversations, the same 5 shirts he rotates through. When I'm with you, I feel alive. When I'm home, I feel like I'm slowly suffocating. I read them all, every single one. I needed to understand the full scope of what had been happening in my marriage while I'd been grading papers and preparing lesson plans. But the drafts folder was worse. I almost missed it. Just clicked on it while exploring the account structure. The folder contained 14 draft emails, messages Vanessa had written but never sent. The first one I opened was dated 6 months ago, March 23rd. Subject line, I need to tell you something. Alex, by the time you read this, I'll be gone. I've been seeing someone else, someone who understands me in ways you never could. His name is Jordan, and he's everything I need. He has ambition, drive, passion. He makes me feel alive again. I'm sorry it ended this way, but I can't keep pretending anymore. I've already consulted with an attorney about the divorce. You'll be hearing from them soon. She'd written that 6 months ago. 6 months of living in our house, sleeping in our bed, eating meals with our children, all while planning her exit strategy. I leaned back in the kitchen chair, feeling like I'd been punched in the chest. The morning sun had shifted position, casting different shadows across the table. My coffee was cold. The next draft was titled simply, The List. I opened it. Reasons to leave him, the document began. Numbered from 1 to 47. 47 reasons. She'd documented 47 reasons why I wasn't enough for her. I made myself read every single one. 1. Balding rapidly. Doesn't even try to do anything about it. 2. Gained 30 pounds since we got married, won't go to the gym. 3. Just a teacher, no ambition for anything more. 4. Makes less than a third of what Jordan makes. 5. Boring in bed, predictable, never adventurous. 6. Content with his mediocre life. 7. Wears the same 5 shirts in rotation. 8. Drives a 12-year-old Honda, embarrassing. 9. His idea of a nice dinner is Olive Garden. 10. Never surprises me with anything romantic. The list continued. Some items were about my appearance, others about my career, my personality, my habits. Several compared me explicitly to Jordan. 23. Jordan plans elaborate weekends in luxury hotels. Alex thinks a Netflix subscription is romantic. 24. Jordan earns respect in his industry. Alex is just one teacher among many. 25. Jordan dresses like success. Alex dresses like he's given up. 26. Jordan knows the right wines, the right restaurants. Alex thinks Applebee's is fancy. 27. Jordan makes me feel like a woman. Alex makes me feel like a housemate. 28. Jordan has goals and ambitions. Alex is satisfied with the status quo. 29. Jordan surprises me with gifts and trips. Alex remembers my birthday with a card from the drugstore. 30. Jordan talks about exciting things. Alex talks about students and lesson plans. 31. Jordan has connections, influence, power. Alex is just one of 50 teachers in a building. 32. Jordan makes 6 figures. Alex complains about needing a summer job. 33. Jordan works out regularly, and it shows. Alex has let himself go completely. 34. Jordan's car is a BMW. Alex's car needs duct tape on the bumper. 35. Jordan takes me to wine tastings and gallery openings. Alex takes me to parent-teacher conferences. 36. Jordan's friends are successful professionals. Alex's friends are other teachers. 37. Jordan plans ahead. Alex lives day to day with no vision. 38. Jordan makes me feel sexy and desired. Alex makes me feel like comfortable furniture. 39. Jordan knows how to dress for success. Alex wears khakis with stains. 40. Jordan surprises me in bed. Alex follows the same routine every time. 41. Jordan reads business books and stays current. Alex reads lesson plans and chemistry journals. 42. Jordan has status. Alex has tenure. 43. Jordan travels first class. Alex uses budget airlines and complains about the cost. 44. Jordan makes reservations at places with Michelin stars. Alex makes reservations at chain restaurants. 45. Jordan's conversation is stimulating. Alex tells the same stories from school repeatedly. 46. Jordan has potential to keep growing. Alex has already peaked in his career. 47. I deserve better than this life, better than him. Jordan offers me that better life. I sat there reading 47 carefully documented reasons why the woman I'd spent 12 years with wanted to leave me. She'd numbered them, organized them, refined them over time. The draft had multiple revision dates. Another draft, dated April 15th, was a financial planning document. She'd calculated our assets, researched divorce law, estimated alimony obligations, and planned how to divide everything. She'd even noted the name of a divorce attorney, Patricia Woods, specializes in high net worth divorces, aggressive strategy, 94% success rate for female clients. The document was detailed. She'd listed our house value $425,000, estimated equity $180,000, calculated my teacher's pension value, $140,000, documented our savings accounts, $47,000, and even noted the value of my 2013 Honda Civic, $3,500. She'd written, "embarrassing" next to that entry. She'd researched Virginia divorce law extensively. Notes about equitable distribution, spousal support calculations based on income disparity, child support guidelines. She'd even drafted a proposed custody schedule. Children with Alex weekdays, he has summers off. With me weekends and all holidays, better, lifestyle, more opportunities. There was a note at the bottom. Patricia Woods consultation scheduled for April 22nd, 2 p.m. Questions to ask, timeline for filing, strategy for maximizing settlement, how to minimize impact on my career. All while coming home every evening, kissing me hello, asking about my day at school, helping the kids with homework, maintaining the perfect facade of a functioning marriage. I heard a car door slam outside. My heart jumped, but it was just our neighbor. Vanessa wouldn't be back for another 2 hours. I saved everything. Screenshots of every email, every hotel confirmation, every flight booking, every draft document. I uploaded them to a secure cloud storage account, burned them to a flash drive, and emailed them to myself at 3 different email addresses. Then I started making calls. My first call was to Patricia Woods, the divorce attorney Vanessa had researched. I figured if Vanessa thought she was good, she probably was. Patricia Woods Law Offices. Professional female voice, calm and efficient. My name is Alex Brennan. I need an emergency consultation about a divorce. Today, if possible. We're normally closed Sundays, Mr. Brennan, but I happen to be in the office catching up on paperwork. What's the nature of the emergency? I discovered this morning that my wife has been having an affair for 8 months. She's been planning to divorce me for at least 6 months. I have extensive documentation of everything, and I need to know how to proceed before she realizes I know. There was a brief pause. I can see you at 2 p.m. today. Bring all your documentation. And Mr. Brennan, don't confront your wife until after we've talked. That's critical. Understood. I spent the next hour organizing my evidence into a clear presentation. I created folders, affair evidence, hotel bookings, flight confirmations, explicit correspondence, planned abandonment, financial planning. Each folder was chronologically organized with clear file names. I arrived at Patricia Woods' office at 1:55 p.m. The building was modern glass and steel, the kind of place that screamed expensive legal services. Her office was on the 7th floor, tastefully decorated with dark wood and leather furniture. Patricia herself was in her mid-50s, gray hair pulled back in a neat bun, wearing a casual Sunday outfit of slacks and a blazer. She had the air of someone who'd seen every possible marital catastrophe and remained unfazed by all of them. "Show me what you have," she said, gesturing to the chair across from her desk. I handed her my laptop and the flash drive. I've organized everything chronologically. The main inbox has 247 emails spanning 8 months. The drafts folder contains her planned breakup letter, a list of 47 reasons she wants to leave me, and financial planning documents for the divorce. She even researched you specifically. I found notes from her planned consultation. Patricia's eyebrows rose slightly, the first sign of surprise I'd seen from her. She was planning to consult with me? April 22nd. It's in her calendar draft. She spent the next 40 minutes reviewing the evidence, occasionally making notes on a legal pad. She read several of the explicit emails, her expression remaining neutral. She studied the list of 47 reasons carefully. She examined the financial planning document with particular attention. Finally, she looked up. Mr. Brennan, this is the most comprehensive evidence of adultery I've seen in 15 years of practice. Your wife has essentially documented her own case against herself. This list alone, 47 reasons, demonstrates premeditated abandonment. Courts take that very seriously. So what happens now? Now we use this to your advantage. Virginia is an equitable distribution state, but it also recognizes fault-based divorce. Adultery is grounds for fault-based divorce, which can significantly impact asset division, alimony, and attorney's fees. More importantly, she's been planning premeditated abandonment. That list of hers demonstrates this wasn't a momentary lapse but a calculated decision. That matters enormously in court. Patricia leaned forward, her hands folded on the desk. Here's what we're going to do. Tomorrow morning, I'll file divorce papers citing adultery and abandonment. We'll have a process server ready to deliver them at a time of your choosing. You need to secure your finances immediately. I'll send you detailed instructions for protecting joint accounts without violating any legal requirements. Most importantly, you cannot confront her until everything is in place. Once she knows you know, she'll start her own defensive maneuvers. What should I do about joint accounts? First thing Monday morning, you'll go to your bank. You won't close any joint accounts, that would look bad. But you will open a separate account in your name only and transfer exactly half of the joint savings. Document everything. Keep receipts. We want to show that you acted fairly and within legal bounds. Also, get a credit report immediately. Make sure she hasn't opened any accounts you don't know about. What about her job? I asked. She works for Biotech Dynamics, and this Jordan person works for their competitor, MedFarm Solutions. That seems like a conflict of interest. Patricia's expression shifted, a sharp, strategic smile. That's very good thinking, Mr. Brennan. Yes, a romantic relationship between sales representatives from competing pharmaceutical companies is a massive ethics violation. Both companies would be very interested in that information. Industry regulations are strict about this kind of thing. Potential for trade secret violations, conflict of interest, breach of fiduciary duty. Should I contact them? Not directly, not yet. Let's hold that card. We may need it for leverage, or it may come out naturally during discovery. Either way, it's another nail in her coffin. Her affair didn't just violate marriage vows, it potentially violated professional ethics and her employment contract. How long will this take? With evidence this solid? If she's smart, she'll settle quickly rather than letting this go to trial. A trial would expose everything publicly, including her professional misconduct and that list of 47 reasons. Her attorney will advise her to settle. I'd estimate we can have this resolved in 3 to 4 months, maybe 5 if she's stubborn. And what should I expect in terms of outcome? Patricia consulted her notes. Based on this evidence, you're in an excellent position. You'll likely keep the house. It's in both names, but courts favor the stable parenting environment, and you're clearly providing that. Retirement accounts will be divided, but her adultery gives us leverage to negotiate favorably. Alimony? Given her infidelity and documented intent to abandon the marriage, I'd say chances are 0 she'll get spousal support. In fact, we might argue for her to contribute to your attorney's fees. Really? Virginia courts can order the at-fault party to pay the innocent party's legal costs in cases of adultery. It's not automatic, but with evidence this comprehensive, we have a strong case. I left her office feeling strange. Not better exactly, but purposeful. I had a plan. I had a strategy. After years of teaching teenagers about the scientific method, I was applying those same principles to the dissolution of my marriage. Observe, document, analyze, act. I stopped at a coffee shop on the way home and ordered a large black coffee. I sat in my car in the parking lot for 20 minutes, just processing everything. In 8 hours, my entire life had changed. I'd woken up thinking I had a normal marriage. Now I was planning a divorce with one of the best family law attorneys in the state. My phone buzzed. Text from Vanessa. Kids and I will be home around 5:30. Want me to pick up dinner? I stared at the message. She was asking about dinner while planning to leave me, while maintaining an 8-month affair, while having documented 47 reasons I wasn't good enough. I texted back, "Sure, whatever you want." She replied with a smiley face emoji. I drove home and spent the next 2 hours preparing. I backed up all my evidence again, this time to a safe deposit box at the bank. I documented the current state of every room in our house with my phone camera. Patricia had suggested this in case Vanessa later claimed I'd damaged or hidden property. I made copies of every important document I could find. Tax returns, insurance policies, car titles, the house deed, our marriage certificate. When Vanessa arrived home with the kids at 5:35 p.m., I was in the kitchen, appearing to grade lab reports. "Hey, honey," she called out, carrying bags of Chinese takeout. "Hope General Tso's chicken is okay, the kids were craving it." I stood up and kissed her cheek, the same routine we'd had for years. "Sounds great." Our kids, Emma, 10, and Dylan, 8, ran upstairs to put away their shopping bags. Vanessa started setting out the food containers on the kitchen counter. "How was your day?" she asked. "Quiet. Just caught up on some grading. How was shopping?" "Good. Mom spoiled the kids, of course, got them both new shoes and some clothes for school." She smiled at me, that familiar smile I'd seen thousands of times. "How was your weekend otherwise? Did you do anything interesting?" I looked at her, really looked at her. She seemed completely normal, relaxed, no guilt in her expression, no nervousness. Just Vanessa, acting like everything was fine. "Nothing too interesting," I said. "Just the usual." We ate dinner as a family. The kids talked about their day with their grandmother. Vanessa laughed at Dylan's story about a dog they'd seen at the mall. I contributed to the conversation when appropriate, maintaining the facade. This was my life. Had been my life. Would have continued to be my life if I hadn't accidentally opened that iPad. After dinner, after the kids were in bed, Vanessa and I watched a movie together on the couch. She leaned against me like she always did, made comments about the plot. During a boring scene, she checked her phone. I watched her thumb move across the screen, probably texting Jordan, probably using that secret email account. "I have to travel again this week," she said during a commercial break. "Chicago, client emergency. I'll need to leave Wednesday afternoon, back Friday evening." "More problems with the Chicago accounts?" "Yeah, they're demanding, but good revenue, so I need to keep them happy." She squeezed my hand. "Sorry to leave you with the kids again." "It's fine. Part of the job, right?" "Part of the job," she agreed. I knew the truth. Wednesday to Friday in Chicago meant 2 nights at the peninsula with Jordan. Room 2847. While I handled homework and dinner and bedtime routines, she'd be in a luxury hotel room with her affair partner. But I didn't say anything. Patricia had been clear. Don't confront until everything is in place. So I sat there on the couch, watching a movie I wasn't processing, while my wife of 12 years leaned against me and planned her weekend with another man. Monday morning, I taught my regular classes at Jefferson High School. First period AP Chemistry, discussing equilibrium reactions. The irony wasn't lost on me, explaining how systems attempt to maintain balance when disrupted, while my own life had been thrown completely off balance. During my planning period, I researched Jordan Harper more thoroughly. His LinkedIn profile was impressive. Regional Sales Director at MedPharm Solutions. MBA from Northwestern. 20 years in pharmaceutical sales. Recently divorced, according to his profile update from 4 months ago. In his profile photo, he wore an expensive suit and smiled confidently. The kind of person who'd never worried about making photocopies or grading lab reports at midnight. His social media presence was carefully curated, Photos from business conferences showing him shaking hands with other executives. Motivational quotes about success and ambition. Pictures from high-end restaurants in various cities. Several posts about business travel. I cross-referenced his social media posts with Vanessa's email calendar. Chicago in March. Jordan posted a photo from a steakhouse with the caption, "Chicago never disappoints." Vanessa's email showed she was there that same weekend, same restaurant mentioned in her messages to Jordan. Boston in April. Jordan posted from Fenway Park with Red Sox game with a special someone. Vanessa had told me she was at a regional managers conference that weekend. I found an article about him in a pharmaceutical industry publication from last year. Jordan Harper, regional sales director at MedPharm Solutions, has consistently exceeded targets in the competitive cardiology market. His innovative approaches to client relations have made him one of the top performers in the company. I looked up MedPharm Solutions' website. They specialized in cardiology medications, same as Biotech Dynamics' major division. Direct competitors. The ethics implications were significant. During lunch, I went to the bank as Patricia had instructed. I spoke with the branch manager, explaining that I was going through a divorce and needed to protect my assets legally. "I want to open a new account in my name only," I said, "and I need to transfer exactly half of our joint savings to that account. I have documentation of the current balances." The branch manager, a woman named Linda who'd handled our accounts for years, looked sympathetic. "I'm sorry you're going through this, Alex. We can absolutely set that up for you." She helped me open a new checking account and a new savings account. We transferred $23,500 from our joint savings, exactly half of the $47,000 balance. I kept all the documentation, including printouts showing the calculations. "What about credit cards?" Linda asked. "Do you have any joint credit cards?" "Two. One with a $3,000 balance, one with a $1,200 balance. You might want to pay those off from the joint account before you do anything else. Split the payments 50-50. That way, there's no ambiguity about who owes what." I followed her advice, writing checks from the joint account to pay off both cards completely. More documentation for Patricia. That afternoon, I received an email from Patricia with detailed instructions. The divorce papers would be filed Tuesday morning. A process server would be standing by to deliver them whenever I gave the word. I needed to decide when and where Vanessa should be served. I thought about it during my afternoon classes while helping students understand stoichiometry problems. Wednesday. I'd have her served Wednesday morning at her office before she could leave for Chicago. Before she could spend another weekend with Jordan on my money, in my marriage, while maintaining her lies. I emailed Patricia. Wednesday morning, 10 a.m. at her office. She replied within minutes. Confirmed. Process server will deliver at that time. Tuesday evening, I started putting together a comprehensive presentation of all the evidence. I created a slideshow with timestamps, screenshots, and a clear timeline. Hotel bookings cross-referenced with her business trip explanations. Flight confirmations showing coordinated travel with Jordan. Excerpts from the explicit emails. The list of 47 reasons. The planned breakup letter. The financial planning document. I wanted everything ready for when I finally confronted her. Not Wednesday, she'd be served at work, but I wouldn't confront her until she came home. She deserved to spend the entire day knowing that everything had changed, that all her plans were unraveling. Wednesday morning arrived. I taught my classes as usual. At 10:15 a.m., my phone buzzed with a text from Patricia. Served. Your wife has been successfully served with divorce papers at her workplace. Process server confirmed delivery. I sat at my desk during planning period, imagining the scene. Vanessa at her desk, probably planning some sales strategy. A stranger walking in with an envelope. "Vanessa Brennan? You've been served." Her opening the envelope. Seeing the divorce petition. Reading the grounds, adultery, abandonment. My phone rang at 10:47 a.m. Vanessa. I let it go to voicemail. It rang again at 10:52 a.m. voicemail. At 11:03 a.m., she called again. This time I answered. "Alex." Her voice was shaking. "What is this? Why did someone just serve me with divorce papers at my office?" Because you've been having an affair with Jordan Harper for 8 months. Because you've been planning to leave me while pretending everything was fine. Because I found your email account Sunday morning. Silence on the other end. Alex, we need to talk about this. We will talk. Tonight when you get home. In the meantime, I suggest you cancel your trip to Chicago. Jordan will have to manage without you this weekend. How did you? Room 2847 at the Peninsula. 8 months of hotel bookings. Hundreds of emails. Your list of 47 reasons. Your planned breakup letter. Your financial planning document. I have everything, Vanessa. Every single thing. More silence. I'll be home by 6, she finally said, her voice barely a whisper. Good. We have a lot to discuss. I hung up. My hands were shaking, adrenaline flooding my system. But I also felt a strange calm. The process had begun. The truth was out. No more pretending. I taught my afternoon classes. 3rd period chemistry, discussing reaction rates. 4th period introductory chemistry, reviewing the periodic table. The normalcy of it all was almost surreal. My colleague Marcus stopped by my classroom after school. Hey man, you seem off today. Everything okay? Served my wife with divorce papers this morning. Marcus's eyes widened. Whoa, I'm sorry. I had no idea you were having problems. Neither did I until Sunday. Found out she's been having an affair. That's brutal. You need anything? Want to grab a beer and talk? Thanks, but I need to handle some things tonight. Rain check? Absolutely. I'm here if you need me. I drove home, stopping to pick up sandwiches from a deli. I wasn't hungry, but I'd need to eat something. I had a long evening ahead. At home, I set up the living room for our conversation. My laptop on the coffee table, already open to the presentation I'd created. The printed emails stacked neatly beside it. A notebook with my timeline and notes. I'd also set up a small camera on the bookshelf, positioned to record the conversation. Patricia had explained that Virginia is a one-party consent state. I could legally record any conversation I was part of without informing the other party. At 6:12 p.m., I heard Vanessa's car in the driveway. She walked in slowly, still wearing her work clothes. Her makeup was smudged. She'd been crying. Her professional facade had cracked. Alex, sit down, I said, gesturing to the armchair across from me. We're going to go through this systematically. She sat, clutching her purse in her lap like a shield. I turned the laptop screen toward her. Sunday morning, 9:47 a.m. I picked up the family iPad to check our weekend schedule. You forgot to log out of Vanessa Sinclair. That's how I found everything. Her face went pale. 8 months, Vanessa. This timeline shows every trip you took with Jordan Harper. Every time you told me you had client meetings, you were actually in a hotel room with him. I clicked through the presentation, showing hotel confirmations, flight bookings, coordinated travel schedules. Let me explain. I'm not done. These are excerpts from your emails. Would you like me to read them aloud? What we did at the Ritz last weekend was incredible. I can't believe I'm going home to that tonight. He has no idea. He never has any idea about anything. Tears started running down her face. Please stop. These are from your drafts folder, your planned breakup letter from March. You were going to leave me 6 months ago, but you decided to stay and keep gathering evidence for the divorce instead. I pulled up the list of 47 reasons. And then there's this. 47 reasons why I'm not good enough for you. Should we go through them together? Number 1. Balding rapidly, doesn't even try to do anything about it. Number 3. Just a teacher, no ambition for anything more. Number 47. I deserve better than this life, better than him. I was angry when I wrote that. You revised it multiple times. The document has version dates spanning 3 months. This wasn't written in anger. This was written with care and attention over a long period of time. She looked down at her hands, silent. And finally, there's your financial planning document. You researched divorce attorneys. You calculated our assets. You planned custody schedules. You even scheduled a consultation with Patricia Woods for April 22nd. Her head snapped up. You hired my attorney? You researched her but never actually consulted with her. So yes, I hired her. She's very good, by the way. She called this the most comprehensive evidence of adultery she's seen in 15 years of practice. Alex, please, we can work through this. Work through what? 8 months of systematic lying? 8 months of you spending my money on hotel rooms with another man? 8 months of you documenting all my flaws while pretending everything was fine? I made a mistake. No, I kept my voice level. A mistake is forgetting an anniversary. A mistake is saying something hurtful in an argument. This wasn't a mistake. This was calculated, systematic deception. You planned this for months. You documented everything. You prepared your exit strategy while kissing me goodnight and helping our kids with homework. Jordan and I, it's not what you think. Jordan Harper, Regional Sales Director at MedFarm Solutions, your competitor. You're both in cardiology sales for competing companies. Do you understand what that means from an ethics standpoint? She went very still. What are you saying? I'm saying that both Biotech Dynamics and MedFarm Solutions have strict ethics policies about relationships with competitor employees. Potential conflict of interest, possible trade secret violations, breach of fiduciary duty. Both your companies would be very interested to learn about your 8-month relationship. You wouldn't. I already have documentation ready to send. Whether I actually send it depends on several factors, including how you handle this divorce. You're threatening my job. I'm explaining potential consequences of your actions. You chose to have an affair with a competitor employee. That was your decision. I'm just making sure everyone has accurate information. Vanessa stood up abruptly. I don't have to listen to this. You're being vindictive and cruel. Sit down. We're not done. You can't order me around. There's a camera recording this conversation, I said, nodding toward the bookshelf. Virginia is a one-party consent state. Everything you've said tonight is being recorded. If you want to leave, you can leave. But then this recording goes to my attorney, along with all the other evidence. So I suggest you sit down and have this conversation. She stood there for a long moment, then slowly sat back down. Here's what's going to happen, I continued. You have 48 hours to get your personal belongings out of this house. After that, the locks will be changed. My attorney will send you a settlement proposal. Given the evidence I have, adultery, premeditated abandonment, professional misconduct, I'm in a strong position. If you're smart, you'll settle quickly. Where am I supposed to go? You could try room 2847 at the Peninsula. Or maybe Jordan has space at his place. That's not my concern anymore. What about the kids? They'll live with me primarily. You can have visitation. We'll work out a schedule through our attorneys. You're taking my children? I'm providing them a stable home environment. You're the one who is planning to leave them. Remember your custody proposal? Children with Alex weekdays, with me weekends and all holidays? You wanted them only when it was convenient for you. That's not fair. Fair? I felt my calm slipping slightly. You want to talk about fair? You spent 8 months lying to me. You documented 47 reasons why I'm inadequate. You spent our money on luxury hotels with your affair partner. You plan to abandon our family. And now you want to talk about fair? She was crying openly now. I never meant for it to go this far. It started as just conversations, just someone who understood me. Stop. I don't want to hear justifications. I don't want to hear explanations. I want you to understand that this marriage is over. It ended the moment you sent that first intimate email to Jordan. Everything since then has just been the aftermath. Do you hate me? I considered the question. No, I don't hate you. I'm profoundly disappointed. I'm angry about the lies, but hate? That would require more emotion than I can spare for you right now. She reached for me. Alex, please. 12 years of marriage has to count for something. I stood up, stepping away from her reach. 12 years did count for something. Until you documented 47 reasons why those 12 years weren't enough. Until you spent 8 months with someone else. Until you planned to leave while pretending everything was fine. You destroyed those 12 years, not me. I made a mistake. People make mistakes. This wasn't a mistake. Stop calling it that. This was a choice you made repeatedly for 8 months. Every hotel booking, every flight reservation, every lie about client meetings, every intimate email, Every time you came home and kissed me while planning your exit, those were all choices. She just sat there crying. I'm going upstairs, I said. I suggest you start packing. You can sleep in the guest room tonight if you need to, but I want you out by Friday evening. Alex, we're done talking. Anything else goes through attorneys. I walked upstairs to our bedroom, my bedroom now, and closed the door. I could hear her crying in the living room. I sat on the edge of the bed, suddenly exhausted. The confrontation had taken more out of me than I'd realized. My hands were shaking again. But it was done. The truth was out. The process was underway. I heard Vanessa come upstairs an hour later. She went into the guest room. I heard her crying through the wall. I didn't sleep much that night. Thursday morning, I got up early and left for school before Vanessa woke up. I didn't want another confrontation. My phone buzzed during first period. Text from Vanessa. Staying at a hotel. We'll come get my things Saturday when you're out. I replied, fine. I'll be gone 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. She texted back, can we please talk? Really talk? No. Everything goes through attorneys. I deserve a chance to explain. You had 12 years to talk to me honestly. You chose not to. That door's closed now. She didn't respond. During lunch, Patricia called. How did it go last night? As expected. I presented the evidence. She tried to justify it. I ended the conversation. Good. Stay firm. She's going to cycle through various strategies. Anger, bargaining, appealing to history, playing the victim. Don't engage with any of it. Keep all communication focused on logistics. What happens next? Her attorney will contact me within the next few days. We'll start settlement negotiations. With evidence this strong, I expect they'll propose a reasonable division fairly quickly. They don't want this going to trial. What about her job situation? That's interesting. I did some research on pharmaceutical industry ethics policies. Relationships between competitor employees, especially in the same therapeutic area, are serious violations. Both companies have strict confidentiality agreements. If they've shared any information about clients, pricing, strategies, even casually, that could be grounds for termination and potentially legal action. So, should I contact their HR departments? Not yet. Let's see how settlement negotiations go. If she's reasonable, we keep that card in reserve. If she fights us, we play it. Either way, you have leverage. Thursday afternoon, I got a call from an unknown number. I almost didn't answer, but something made me pick up. Mr. Brennan? This is Catherine Phillips, Director of Human Resources at Biotech Dynamics. I'm calling to verify some information we received regarding Vanessa Brennan. My heart rate picked up. Yes? We've been informed of a potential relationship between Mrs. Brennan and an employee of MedPharm Solutions, one of our direct competitors. Can you confirm or deny this information? I can confirm it. The relationship has been ongoing for approximately 8 months. I see. And do you have documentation of this relationship? Extensive documentation. Emails, travel coordination, hotel bookings spanning 8 months. Would you be willing to provide that documentation to us? I thought about Patricia's advice to hold this card. I would need to consult with my attorney first. This information is part of ongoing divorce proceedings. I understand. Could you have your attorney contact me? We take ethics violations very seriously, and we need to investigate this matter thoroughly. I'll have her reach out to you. Thank you, Mr. Brennan. I'm sorry you're going through this situation. After I hung up, I immediately called Patricia and relayed the conversation. Perfect, she said. I'll contact their HR department tomorrow. This adds another layer of pressure on Vanessa. Once she realizes her job is in jeopardy, she'll be more motivated to settle quickly. Friday morning brought another call, this time from MedPharm Solutions' HR department. Similar questions, similar conversation. The wheels were turning. Friday evening, I got a call from Vanessa. She sounded panicked. Alex, please, you have to tell me what you told my company. They're investigating me. They want to see my emails, my calendar, everything. I told them the truth, that you had an 8-month relationship with a competitor employee. You're destroying my career. Your relationship with Jordan is destroying your career. I'm just answering questions truthfully when asked. MedFarm contacted Jordan too. He's being investigated. They might fire both of us. Then you should have thought about that before engaging in an ethics violation for 8 months. Please, Alex. Please don't do this. I'll agree to whatever you want in the divorce. Just don't ruin my career. I haven't ruined anything. You made choices that violated your employment contract. Your company is responding according to their policies. That's not my doing. But you could tell them it was just emotional support, nothing professional. No information was shared. Was it just emotional support? Or did you and Jordan ever discuss work? Clients? Strategies? Pricing? Drug pipelines? Silence. That's what I thought. I'm not lying for you, Vanessa. Not anymore. I'm begging you. Have your attorney contact Patricia about settlement terms. The sooner we resolve this, the better for everyone. I hung up. Saturday morning, I left the house at 8:50 a.m. as promised. I drove to a hiking trail about 30 minutes away and spent several hours walking through the woods, trying to clear my head. My phone buzzed at 2:17 p.m. Text from Vanessa. I'm done. Left the keys on the kitchen counter. I'm sorry for everything. I didn't reply. I returned home at 3 p.m. Half the closet was empty. Her toiletries were gone from the bathroom. The dresser drawers on her side gaped open, vacant. She'd taken some photos from the walls, leaving rectangular patches of darker paint where they'd hung. Her desk in the corner of the bedroom was empty. She'd also left her wedding ring on the kitchen counter, next to the keys. I picked it up, feeling the weight of it. I remembered buying this ring 12 years ago, working overtime at a summer tutoring program to afford it. I remembered sliding it onto her finger in the church, both of us crying happy tears. I put the ring in a drawer and started making dinner for myself. The next few weeks unfolded with mechanical precision. Biotech Dynamics fired Vanessa on September 22nd, 3 weeks after beginning their investigation. Patricia got me a copy of the termination letter through Discovery. The letter cited multiple violations: undisclosed relationship with competitor employee, failure to report conflict of interest, potential, compromise of confidential company information, and violation of company ethics policy. The letter also noted that they'd reviewed her emails and found evidence of discussions about biotech clients, pricing strategies, and upcoming product launches with Jordan Harper. While they couldn't prove trade secret violations, the potential risk was enough to justify termination. MedFarm Solutions didn't fire Jordan, but the punishment was severe. They demoted him from regional sales director to regular sales representative, transferred him to their Montana territory, one of their smallest, lowest revenue regions, and cut his salary by 40%. His BMW was a company car. They took it back. His expense account was eliminated. The pharmaceutical sales industry is surprisingly small and interconnected. Word spread quickly through professional networks. Vanessa sent out 37 applications for new pharmaceutical sales positions over the next 2 months. She got exactly 2 interviews, no offers. You're toxic in the industry now, one of her former colleagues told her, according to a text she sent me in frustration. Everyone knows what happened. Nobody wants to hire someone with an ethics violation on their record. She ended up taking an administrative position at a medical supply company, making $42,000 per year, less than half her previous salary of $95,000. No company car, no expense account, no travel perks. Just a desk job processing orders and managing inventory. Jordan's ex-wife, Catherine, filed a motion to revisit their divorce settlement based on his changed employment circumstances. His alimony obligations had been calculated based on his regional director salary. Now that he was making 40% less, he argued he couldn't afford the same payments. The court reviewed his situation but found that his demotion was the direct result of his own professional misconduct. They didn't reduce his alimony obligations. He ended up paying more of his reduced salary in support to his ex-wife, leaving him with barely enough to live on. And according to Vanessa's increasingly desperate emails to me, the relationship between her and Jordan fell apart rapidly under the weight of all these consequences. Jordan broke up with me, she wrote in mid-October. Said he couldn't handle the stress anymore. Said being with me cost him his career and his lifestyle. said he needed to focus on rebuilding his professional reputation. After everything I gave up for him, he just walked away. Are you happy now? I didn't respond. The divorce proceedings moved faster than expected. Vanessa's attorney, David Martinez, contacted Patricia on September 28th with a settlement proposal. Patricia sent it to me for review. The proposal was surprisingly reasonable. They were clearly trying to settle quickly before things got worse. They proposed a 60-40 split of assets in my favor, agreed to no alimony for Vanessa, and suggested a custody arrangement where the kids lived primarily with me. They're scared, Patricia told me over the phone. They know we could push for more. They know the evidence is overwhelming. And they know that if this goes to trial, everything becomes public record. The emails, the list of 47 reasons, the ethics violations, all of it. Neither Vanessa nor her attorney wants that exposure. What do you recommend? I think we can do better. Let me counter with 70-30 asset split. You keep the house outright. She pays half your attorney's fees and formalize the custody arrangement with you as primary custodial parent. See if they take it. They did, with minimal negotiation. By mid-November, we had a signed settlement agreement. I kept the house, my retirement accounts, most of our investments, and my savings. Vanessa got her car, some personal property, and about 30% of our shared assets, roughly $45,000 in cash and investments. No alimony. The court ruling specifically cited her extramarital affair and documented premeditated abandonment as grounds for denying spousal support. The custody arrangement gave me primary physical custody. Emma and Dylan would live with me full-time, spending every other weekend with Vanessa, plus alternating holidays. And the court ordered Vanessa to pay $9,000 toward my attorney's fees, half of Patricia's bill. The divorce was finalized on January 11th, exactly 1 year after Vanessa's affair with Jordan had begun. Throughout all of this, I kept teaching. My students never knew what was happening in my personal life. I showed up every day at 7:15 a.m., prepared my lessons, taught equilibrium reactions and stoichiometry, graded papers, supervised lab work, hosted after-school tutoring sessions. My job evaluation that spring rated me exemplary in all categories. My principal wrote, "Mr. Brennan consistently demonstrates exceptional dedication to his students and subject matter. His classroom management is excellent, his student engagement is high, and his innovative teaching methods serve as a model for other faculty members." In March, Dr. Morrison, the principal, called me into her office. "Alex, I wanted to talk to you about a new opportunity. We're creating a position for Department Chair of Sciences. It comes with an $8,000 annual stipend and some leadership responsibilities, curriculum development, mentoring new teachers, representing the department at administrative meetings. I'd like you to apply." "I'm very interested," I said. "Thank you for considering me. I should tell you that you're my first choice for the position. The way you've handled yourself this year, dealing with personal difficulties while maintaining complete professionalism in your work, it's been impressive." So word had gotten out about the divorce. That was inevitable in a school community where teachers gossiped during lunch duty. "I appreciate that, Dr. Morrison. I know it hasn't been easy. I went through a divorce myself 10 years ago. It's one of the hardest things a person can experience. But you've shown real character in how you've managed it." I got the department chair position. The stipend brought my total salary to $67,000. Not rich by any means, but comfortable, especially with the divorce settlement giving me the house and most of our assets. Spring semester brought other changes. I started going to the gym 3 mornings a week before school. Not because of Vanessa's comments about my weight, but because I needed something physical to do with the restless energy I felt. I started eating better, meal prepping on Sundays. By April, I'd lost 23 pounds. I felt better, slept better, had more energy. A new English teacher, Rachel Martinez, joined the faculty in January. She was 35, recently divorced after catching her husband cheating. We met at a faculty meeting where she made an insightful comment about cross-curricular teaching strategies. We started having coffee together during planning periods, comparing notes on divorce proceedings and rebuilding life after betrayal. She was smart, funny, straightforward. She didn't play games. It's strange, isn't it? She said one afternoon in April, sitting in my classroom while I graded quiz papers. You spend years building a life with someone, thinking it's permanent. Then one day you realize it was all temporary. I teach my students that some chemical bonds are stronger than others. Some molecules hold together under stress. Others fall apart when conditions change. Marriage is similar. She laughed. Did you just make a chemistry joke about divorce? I make chemistry jokes about everything. It's an occupational hazard. I think it's cute. Our coffee meetings became a regular thing, then lunch together in the faculty lounge, then dinner one evening after a late parent-teacher conference, then a movie the following weekend. I'm not good at this, I told her, on our third official date, sitting in her car outside my house. Dating, I mean. It's been a long time. I'm out of practice. Me neither, she said. But we can figure it out together. No pressure, no expectations. Just two people who've both learned some hard lessons about trust. She was kind, patient, funny. She understood my terrible chemistry puns and made equally terrible literature jokes in response. When I talked about my kids, she listened genuinely, interested in their lives and activities. She didn't push for more than I could give. She was just herself, honest and straightforward. By summer, we were seeing each other regularly. Nothing rushed, nothing dramatic. Just two people taking things slow, learning to trust again. My kids adjusted gradually to the new reality. Emma, especially, struggled with the divorce initially. She was 10 years old enough to understand that her family had broken apart, but not old enough to understand why. Why did Mom have to leave? She asked me one evening in March while I helped her with math homework. Sometimes adults make mistakes, I told her. Your mom and I grew apart. We wanted different things. It wasn't your fault or Dylan's fault. We both still love you very much. But why can't you fix it? Some things can't be fixed, honey. Sometimes the best thing is to start over separately so everyone can be happier. Are you happier? I thought about that. I'm sad about how things ended. But I'm hopeful about what comes next. Does that make sense? She nodded slowly. I guess. I never told the kids the details of Vanessa's affair. They were too young for that level of adult complexity. I just said that their mother and I had grown apart and made different choices. They'd learn the truth eventually, probably when they were older and could process it better. Dylan, at 8, was more resilient. He missed having his mom around all the time, but he adapted to the new routine quickly. Weekdays with me, weekends with Vanessa, regular schedules, and predictable expectations. Both kids eventually met Rachel. I introduced her as my friend from school, initially. By summer, when we'd been dating for 6 months, I upgraded that to someone I'm seeing. Emma was cautious at first, protective of her position. But Rachel was patient and never tried to replace Vanessa. She just became another supportive adult in their lives. Dylan loved her immediately because she brought books about dinosaurs and read to him in funny voices. Vanessa and I settled into a cordial but distant co-parenting relationship. We communicated through brief, factual texts about the kids' schedules, school events, medical appointments. No emotional content, no recriminations, just logistics. Dylan has a dentist appointment Tuesday at 3:30. Got it, I'll take him. Emma's school play is Friday at 7. I'll be there. She never apologized. Not really. She sent one long email in February, 3 months after the divorce was finalized, attempting to explain her choices. I was unhappy for a long time, she wrote. I felt trapped in a life that wasn't fulfilling. Jordan made me feel alive again, made me feel valued. I know I hurt you. I know I made mistakes in how I handled things, but I couldn't keep living that way, feeling suffocated by mediocrity. I hope someday you can understand. I didn't respond to that email. There was nothing to say. She'd chosen her path, faced the consequences, and now we both had to live with the results. I ran into Jordan Harper once, completely by accident. It was November, almost a year after everything had exploded. I was at a coffee shop near the school on a Saturday morning, meeting with Rachel to plan a cross-curricular chemistry and literature project. Jordan was there alone, looking tired and considerably less polished than his professional photos. His suit was off the rack, not tailored. His shoes were scuffed. He'd put on weight. Our eyes met across the coffee shop. I saw recognition, then something like shame cross his face. He looked away immediately, grabbed his coffee, and left quickly through the side door. I watched him go. "That was him?" Rachel asked quietly. "That was him. He looks miserable." "Good," I said, and meant it. A year and a half after finding that email account, I stood at a podium in the high school auditorium, accepting the Teacher of the Year award for Jefferson High School. It was May, end of the school year, annual award ceremony. Dr. Morrison praised my dedication, my innovative teaching methods, my mentorship of new faculty members. She talked about my development of a peer tutoring program that had improved chemistry pass rates by 15%. She mentioned my work as department chair, reorganizing the science curriculum to better prepare students for college. "Mr. Brennan has shown exceptional resilience and professionalism," she said. "He has demonstrated that character isn't about avoiding difficulties, but about how we respond to them. He is an exemplary educator and an exemplary human being." Emma and Dylan were in the audience, sitting with Rachel. I'd gotten them both dressed up for the ceremony. Emma in a new dress, Dylan in khakis, and a button-down shirt. They were fidgeting but smiling. Vanessa wasn't there. She hadn't been invited to school events since the divorce. That was fine. This moment wasn't about her. I gave a brief speech about the importance of public education, the privilege of teaching young minds, the satisfaction of watching students discover their potential. I made a joke about chemistry puns that landed well with my colleagues. I thanked Dr. Morrison, my fellow teachers, and my family. Afterward, Rachel hugged me tight. "I'm proud of you," she whispered. "It's just a teaching award. It's not about the award." That summer, Rachel and I took the kids on a camping trip to Shenandoah National Park. 4 days of hiking, fishing, roasting marshmallows, and telling stories around a campfire. Emma and Dylan taught Rachel how to identify different types of rocks and trees. She taught them some of her favorite poems. I explained why stars are different colors based on their chemical composition, and everyone pretended to understand. One evening, sitting by the fire after the kids had gone to sleep in the tent, Rachel asked, "Do you think about her? About what happened?" "Sometimes," I admitted. "Not as much as I used to. Mostly I think about time. How I spent 12 years with someone who was documenting 47 reasons to leave me while I was planning our anniversary dinner." "Do you regret how you handled it?" I considered the question seriously. "No. I documented what happened, protected myself legally, and let the consequences unfold naturally. I didn't ruin her career. Her choices did that. I didn't destroy her relationship with Jordan. The pressure did that. I just refused to be a passive victim." "You sound like a teacher explaining cause and effect." "I am. Actions have consequences. It's true in chemistry, and it's true in life." She reached over and squeezed my hand. "I'm glad you're the kind of person who believes that." 2 years after finding that email account, I stood in a small ceremony room at a local vineyard, marrying Rachel. Small affair, just close family and friends. No elaborate planning, no expensive destination venue. Just two people who'd learned that honesty and stability mattered more than excitement and romance. My kids served as our witnesses. Emma was 12 now, wearing the dress she'd picked out herself. Dylan was 10, trying to look serious in his suit. They'd grown to love Rachel, appreciating her steady presence in their lives, the way she never tried to replace their mother, but simply became another person who cared about them. Marcus gave a toast at the reception. "I've known Alex for 12 years, he said, raising his glass. "And I've watched him handle triumph and disaster with equal grace. He teaches his students that science is about observation, analysis, and drawing appropriate conclusions. Turns out that's a pretty good approach to life, too." Everyone laughed and applauded. Rachel squeezed my hand under the table. That evening, driving home from the reception with the kids asleep in the back seat, she asked, "Any regrets?" "About what?" "Everything. The divorce, the confrontation, all of it. I thought about that Sunday morning 2 years ago, finding the email account by accident. The 4 hours of reading through evidence of systematic deception. The 47 reasons I supposedly wasn't good enough. the carefully planned exit strategy I'd never been meant to discover. Then I thought about everything since: the divorce settlement that had favored me, the career advancement, the relationship with Rachel, the stability I'd built for my kids, the life I had now. No regrets, I said. Finding out the truth was the best thing that could have happened, even though it hurt. I could have wasted years more in a fake marriage. Instead, I got to start building something real. Good answer, she said, smiling. 3 years after finding that email account, I gave a presentation at a state education conference on innovative teaching methods in chemistry. After the session, a young teacher approached me. Couldn't have been more than 24, nervous and eager. Mr. Brennan, I'm starting my first year teaching chemistry this fall. I'm terrified I'm not ready. You probably aren't, I said honestly. Nobody is fully ready. But you figure it out as you go. Any advice? Be honest with your students. If you don't know something, admit it and find out together. Model integrity in everything you do. Show them that actions have consequences, good and bad. Teach them to document their observations and draw appropriate conclusions. Those lessons matter more than memorizing the periodic table. The young teacher thanked me and left. Rachel, who'd been waiting at the back of the room, walked over. Giving advice to the next generation? Someone has to. We left the conference and drove home, back to the house I'd kept in the divorce settlement. The house where I'd discovered the truth on that Sunday morning. The house that had witnessed confrontation and pain and eventual healing. The house that was now filled with new memories. Rachel's books on the shelves, family dinners around the table, laughter instead of lies. Sometimes I thought about Vanessa. I heard updates through mutual acquaintances. She was still working her administrative job at the medical supply company. Still dating that manager she'd met there, though that relationship seemed to be struggling too. Still living in her small apartment, still dealing with reduced income and reduced status. I didn't feel vengeful about her situation. I didn't take pleasure in her struggles. I just felt neutral. She'd made choices, faced consequences, and now lived with the results. Same as everyone else. The kids saw her regularly, every other weekend, holidays, summer vacation time. She was trying to be a good mother within the limits of her circumstances. I never spoke badly about her to Emma and Dylan. Whatever else she was still their mother. Jordan had apparently left Virginia entirely, moved somewhere out west. I didn't follow up on the details. His life was no longer relevant to mine. 4 years after finding that email account, I sat in my living room on a Sunday afternoon, grading papers while Rachel read beside me, and the kids did homework at the kitchen table. Emma was working on an algebra problem. Dylan was writing a book report. Rachel was deep into a novel, occasionally laughing at something funny. Completely ordinary, completely unremarkable. Completely different from the life I'd had before. The iPad that had started everything sat on the bookshelf, now mostly used by the kids for school research projects. Sometimes I looked at it and remembered that Sunday morning, that moment of confusion when I saw an unfamiliar email account, that first message that unraveled everything. If I could go back to that moment, would I choose not to look? Would I choose comfortable ignorance over painful truth? Number: never. Because I'd learned something important through everything that happened. Truth matters more than comfort. Integrity matters more than convenience. And facing reality, however painful, is always better than living in a carefully constructed lie. I taught those principles to my students in chemistry class. I lived them in my marriage to Rachel. I modeled them for my kids. And I believe them with complete conviction. Some reactions are explosive and dramatic. Others are slow and methodical. But all reactions have consequences, predictable, measurable, unavoidable. That was chemistry. And that was life.